Hey everyone, this is a quick video on uploading your images to Design Space, plus a quick explanation of some of the file types. So let's jump right in. The first place I'm going to go is to my Downloads folder. This is where I saved my file. This video assumes that you know how to download your photo from the source that you purchased it from, or if it's a free file, the source that you found it at. But if you need some help with that, feel free to reach out. But if you have your file already downloaded, you'll see this one here from Design Bundles. It's called Cuter Than a Christmas Cookie, and it is a .zip file with a zipper on the folder. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to double click and open that file. You'll see here it says Extract All. Before you can use your files, you need to extract them. So I'm going to select Extract All, and it's going to ask me where I want to save my file. I'm going to browse, and I keep all of my design files in a separate place because I have a lot of them and I want to be able to find them. So I have my designs folder, and in that I have a holiday folder and a Christmas folder. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to name it Cuter Than a Christmas Cookie, because if I want to find this a year from now or whatever, I'm going to know where to look for it. So I'm going to select that folder and tell it to extract there. After a moment, a folder will pop up and you'll see that it doesn't say Extract All anymore and the files are here. So we can just close that and go to Design Space. Here we're going to select Upload. You see I have it uploaded here already, but I'm going to go through the whole process. So you select Upload, you select Browse. You don't want to open the zip file here. You want to go to wherever you extracted to. So I'm going to go back to my Design folder. And in there, I'm going to go to my holiday folder, my Christmas folder. I know it's a lot, but I have a lot of files to sort there. And I'm going to open up Cuter Than a Christmas Cookie, and there's my file. Inside, you're going to see many files, one being this PDF. That's your license information. That lets you know if you're allowed to only use this item for personal use, like for yourself or your kids or for gifts, or if you're allowed to sell items that you make, for example, if you have a Facebook page or an Etsy shop. Your license information will be there. This is just a shortcut bringing us back to Design Bundles where we got our file from. First file type you see is an SVG file. This is a scalable vector graphic. Scalable means that you can resize it from something very small, like a business card size, all the way up to like a billboard, and you should never lose quality. It's made of lines and paths, and it's not made out of pixels, so you can resize it freely. Vector is just telling you that it's made of lines and paths and not pixels. This is your ideal cut file. It often comes already layered by color, and you can upload it directly into Design Space. So that's why you'll often see people saying, I need an SVG. Those are the files they're looking for. This is a PNG file. It's called a Portable Network Graphics file. It's portable because it's compressed to make its file size smaller. They use lossless compression, which means you have a smaller file, but you don't lose quality. This is really great if you have a picture of an item, and I'm going to show you a picture of an item a little later in the video. Something that wouldn't really cut well because the colors are kind of blended together, so you want to print it and then cut it. That's where a PNG comes into play. A lot of people like them on Design Space because PNG supports a completely transparent background. So when you do print your file, you will not have a square behind it. Next is a JPEG, which most of you are probably familiar with. A JPEG is a raster file. It means it's pixel-based. It's made out of thousands and thousands of teeny tiny little squares. When you resize a JPEG, you often, almost always, have quality loss. If you do need to use a JPEG, for example, you only have this one image of a person and you want to put it on something, try to make sure you have a high resolution image. That means 300 dpi or dots per inch or higher. Often if you're downloading from someone's, say, Facebook page or something like that, it's around like 72 dpi and that just will not print well. JPEGs are great if you have a high resolution copy of an item or of a person. That's when you would want to use those. They don't support transparent backgrounds though, so if you upload a JPEG and you try to print it, it is going to print with a white square around it, and then the Cricut will try to cut a white square around it. An EPS file is a design file. It's called Encapsulated PostScript. It is vector. You can open it in Adobe Illustrator or anything like that. However, it is not compatible with Design Space, and since you're here to use Design Space, you likely will not be using this file. A DXF file, or a drawing exchange format file, is also a vector file. It's just like the SVG. It can be opened in Illustrator or Inkscape or uploaded to Design Space, so you can use that file as well as an SVG. So that's it for the file types. I think the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to do the SVG for this purpose, and we're going to select Open, because that's what most people are using right now. Here you can see that there is a transparent background, so this is how it's going to cut. You don't have to clean an SVG file. They come pre-cleaned. They are just ready to drop into your file, so you can just give it a name. I'm going to put gingerbread cookie here, so later, or gingerbread man, so later if I'm looking through my images in Design Space, I can find him again. And then I'll just hit Save. Once it's saved, you'll see it pops up here. You select it and insert image onto your canvas. Once it's on your canvas, you're going to see that the image is broken into layers by color. So you have your black layer, your green layer, your red layer, and your brown layer. You have 4 different layers, and that's how it will cut when you go to make it. It will cut on 4 different mats, and then you can layer your pieces together. We're going to upload one more file. It's going to be this donut file, so we're going to go back to Upload. And remember, we were talking about that PNG file. So this was a standalone file that was not in a zip folder, so I just downloaded one single PNG file. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to hit Open. As you can see, this donut would not cut very well in vinyl. The colors are very blendy, there are gradients, there's a lot happening here. If you actually picked simple, it would ruin your donut. Your image would look terrible. Same with moderately complex. This is a complex image. It has details, it has blended colors. There's not a lot of contrast between, the different colors here. Here we don't have a background, so that's not an issue, but you can see that the colors are blended. So we want to make sure that it's going to print appropriately. We pick the complex option, and then we hit Continue. There's no cleaning to do in this area because we already don't have a background and we're not trying to cut anything out of this, so you can just go ahead and continue. As you'll see here, you get to choose if you want to save as a print then cut image or just a cut image. When it cuts, it's going to cut this shape, and that's what we want. But we want to print it first, say on printable vinyl or on cardstock. So we're going to select the print then cut image. Here, I'm just going to rename it Donut because that was a complicated name. And I'm going to give it the tag of Donut so I can find it again later, and I'm going to hit Save. It could take a minute or two for the object to save, depending on how Design Space is feeling that day. So you can see that it is trying to save. Sometimes you'll get a little circle spinning, otherwise you can see right up here there's this green line that's just kind of going and going. So we're just going to have to give it a minute to do its thing. Just be patient with it. When it's done, you will see that your file is uploaded, and you do the same as before. You select it, and then you hit Insert Image. Once your image is in, you'll see that this is printable. All of your details are there, but it is only one layer. So when you say to make it, it's going to tell you that it wants you to print first. So you'll put it here, and you see it has this black box around it. That's how it's going to gauge where to cut later. And then you will go on through the rest of the steps to print and all of that. That's for another video, though. We were just getting them into Design Space for today, so we're going to go back. If Design Space will let us go back, we're going to cancel and go back here. So as you can see, your SVG has your multi-layer cutting file and your different colors, and your PNG is great for your print and cut, so you can get all those donutty details and you can totally put them on a t-shirt or whatever you want to use. That's all for this video, but I'll see you all soon. Bye!